Alright, we're taking another look at the junk gun collection here, and this time I thought I would try to go through and talk about why I bought some of these firearms. Again, the idea of this series is to enlighten people about the potential fun you might have with inexpensive firearms. If you're into the mechanics of them, if you're into the history of them, if you're into just shooting them, you can still have a lot of fun with not a lot of expense. So I'm just going to kind of go through left to right, take a kind of a look at each one. This might turn into a lengthy video. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't. So a quick kick in the tripod and let's get into it. So we first off got an Intratec Scorpion Tech 22, and this was one of the first guns I owned when I was a kid and I turned 21. I could start buying pistols on my own. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. There was a quarry out here where we could just shoot. I like to shoot toilets up because you could just shoot them into powder, and just the smaller pieces became more challenging targets. Having a lot of 22s was great. Actually, though, back then the magazines were the weak part. If I used the little tiny 22 mags from, or the 10-round mags from Ruger, they were fine. But any of my longer third-party mags didn't really work too well. I ended up selling the gun when I was a kid because I couldn't afford to have a lot of just recreational guns, and I traded it in for a carry gun. So later on I found one for under 200 bucks, grabbed it with the new BX25 mags. You know, they're great guns, they work great, and again, it's still super fun to shoot. Along the same lines, I met the guy who invented this thing, the Zip 22, up at SHOT Show. Was it SHOT Show 2010 or 11, I forget, and seemed like a nice guy. I'm all about guns, right? So this was right up my alley. It's a little big. It's a bullpup, right? Technically a bullpup here, and it's a little big because it kind of goes around the mag here for the trigger. But man, is this thing a neat gun? And people love to hate it. I've posted multiple videos where I'm out there. As long as I shoot the little, again, the little 10-round Ruger mags, this thing does not quit. Again, I've posted videos. People insist that they don't work. It doesn't work with this mag, but it sure does look cool for the pictures, so that's why it's in there. Coming along, I've got this little twist Derringer. It's a little 22 short. I'm all about the 22 short, right? The first cartridge ever invented. And this little Derringer, just a neat little operational, or the way that it works is neat. The operation of the twisting barrels there, pull the hammer back, right? Just like a little Derringer. Super cool. Again, just knowing people at gun shops. It's worth sending a pizza to your friends at the gun shop once in a while. That way when you hang out and you bug them, you know, you're not quite such a burden, and when stuff like this comes along, you get the first phone call. So this was a little French 25 ACP revolver. Now, I'm going to be honest, I can't imagine too many other people out there care about stuff like this. But for me, being a big fan of the tiny revolvers and a big fan of the 25 Ring of Fire guns, well, anyway, this one was made for me. A lot of fun to shoot that little guy too, and didn't pay a lot of money for it. We've got some inexpensive Remington-style Derringers because I can't afford a Remington Derringer. You know, if I had a real Remington Derringer, I would appreciate it a lot more, but this thing still has some neat history, and these things are like 75 bucks. The little Derringer, the little revolvers, of course, doing a whole series on them, but come on, can you get more cool than the actual, of course it's not going to pop right out for me, the belt buckle revolver. And again, all the history in this. Dick Gasul makes the first one. Baker improves it, brings it up to 22 long rifle, sells it over to North American Arms. That whole history, again, we're doing a series on that. Super cool. The pistol in a pen, no registration because it bends and has the exposed trigger. You're good to go. Again, it's just neat the way this interacts with federal law, with just, you know, cool James Bond type of stuff. I can take it out to the range. No matter what kind of day you're having, no matter what kind of people are out at the range, you take this thing out, you pop a few rounds through it, especially when you got the suppressor on there, and guess what? You've made a bunch of friends at the range, you got conversation going, and for me, that's half the fun of shooting, is going out and enjoying the sport or the hobby with other people. Let's move to this Sundance. This is one of the Ring of Fire guns. This one is from the granddad's nephew. And kind of some improvements to this one are the side magazine catch, or the button on the side for the magazine. We got the rounded slide, so you don't get no slide bite. I'm not a big fan of grip safeties, but when they initiate the laser, come on, that's awesome. So imagine this with the extendo back in the day all blinged out. That is definitely a cool representation of the Saturday Night Special guns. Next up, a Grendel. So this is a 380. You lock that slide back. Let's remove the mag. Well, there's no mag catch. There's no magazine. This thing is an internal box-fed mag. So you load it with stripper clips. This is an M16 stripper clip. Just strip or load it just like an SKS or a Nagant. And how awesome is that? It's a Grendel, so it's the predecessor to the Kel-Tec, both made by George Kellgren. Now, I don't personally call the Kel-Tecs junk guns, but we're doing the series. Some people would. Another little one that's by no means junk is this little Beretta, and this is the Lynx, I believe, that are the Minks, which are 22 short. Again, I'm a big fan of 22 short. Well, this is a 22 short Beretta pistol with the pop-up barrel. Super fun to shoot. You could literally carry this as a defense item. I suppose if you had arthritis or something, it's so easy to shoot. Little single action, fun little gun. It's got a safety. There's a couple of different models of this one, and it's a fun one to collect. Not as cheap as the rest of them. These things are easily 200 something bucks. But again, knowing people is when you get the first phone call for some of these, and sometimes that's the best prices. So how can you appreciate cheap guns and not have an original Saturday Night Special? So this is a Rome, made in Germany. This is the stuff that the 1968 Gun Control Act was designed to set up. It was there to save us from this little revolver. But really, this inexpensive revolver was the reason we have some of the federal legislation we have today that I've lived my entire life under, most of you have lived your entire life under, and there's no way to forget that stuff when you have the Saturday Night Special in your hand. Sure, it's not the most intricate or elaborate 22 out there, but little loading gate, single, double action, it works. It can break, but not a bad little gun. Then the Gun Control Act happens. What happens? They send the parts over, and now instead of the thing being made in Italy, it's made in New York. So same parts, same gun. Can there be a more in-your-face representation of compliance with idiot laws? Next up is the little Bauer, the stainless steel U.S.-made clone of the Baby Browning, one of my favorite guns of all time. The 25 ACP was made for Browning's version of this gun. The gun was made for the cartridge. That was back in 1905. Ever since then, millions and millions and millions of these little firearms have been made and exist, and this is exactly the kind of stuff that our great-grandmas might have been carrying, and that's the reason we're here today. So this is the kind of stuff that represents so much history to me, but this is a stainless steel, 100% legit, fun to shoot, little working gun. So this is the same as the little NAAs. They might look like toys, but everything about this is 100% ready to just put in a good day's work defending you. And that'll bring us to the PMR 30, a 30-shot 22 Magnum, European style mag release, made by Kel-Tec, all kinds of plastic, goofiest looking thing ever. Again, this is the kind of gun that people love to hate it, and I guess I hate that I love it. But fun little gun to shoot. It's so much fun that it bothers the 5.7 owners who paid $1,000 for their pistols and just get so aggravated when people shoot these things and compare them. I would never carry this gun necessarily, at least not yet. If they involve it a little bit and it gets a little better maybe. But at the moment, it's like holding an empty squirt gun. There's nothing to this gun. It shoots 30 rounds at 22 Magnum. I found the white box Wildcat works perfectly. So again, I see so many videos where people rag on these. They don't work. They're not reliable. I haven't had any hiccups. Knock on wood here. So again, this is another one that people love to hate, but for me, I saw it at a gun shop one day when I was out traveling actually, and I asked if I could just see whoever's gun that was, and they said it was just for sale. So I pulled out, I couldn't get the credit card out of my pocket fast enough, put it on credit. I couldn't afford it at the time. It's one of those things that's why you have credit cards for. I had to work a little extra harder to get rid of the bill on that one, but to me it was worth it. I have a lot of fun shooting that thing. Like I say, it's such a neat little gun. Got the soup can Uzi there. All the fun of an Uzi, but the price of a parts kit. This was literally just an Uzi parts kit that I got at a deal at a show, I think, and turned it into a working Uzi mock-up. For me, I don't shoot 9mm that much. Uzis are neat and everything. I've shot them before, shot them full auto. I really do appreciate the gun. However, I don't need to own one. They're going to cost me $13,000 or something to buy a full auto. Not interested in that. The pistols, they don't have a stock. The rifles have that crazy barrel, and it just isn't an Uzi for me. So for me, every once in a while when I want to fiddle with the stock is the best part of an Uzi. Maybe flipping the safety there, pulling the trigger, or changing out mags. I can do all that stuff with my soup can Uzi. And guess what? I'll bet you if I open carried a soup can Uzi, people would throw a fit. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. Just again, the concept that, you know, having just some parts around is enough to trigger people's emotional response on this stuff. Again, not that I'm doing it. It's just that, well, I guess I am doing it in the videos, so I'll quit trying to justify that one. But that's a soup can Uzi. I've got my little broken, this is a standard arm, so this is what came from Lorson, horrible company. Went into standard, only lasted a year, and then it became, I forget, Talon. This gun is broken. I paid like $8 for it, but again, for the collection, for having it in my collection of Saturday Night Special and my Ring of Fire guns, it doesn't cost almost anything. You know, so something that helped offset the admission price to a gun show once. So I may have missed a few, but the video's running to 12 minutes already. Trying to, again, show some enthusiasm for the stuff that's out there on the fringe, the stuff that might be on the table at the gun show over on the edge with a weird price tag flipped over. Snoop around. Find something you're interested in, like the evolution of polymer guns or the evolution of the Beretta, or maybe you like SIGs or something. So I encourage you to pay a lot more attention at the gun shows. You'll have a lot more fun from them. You'll have conversations with people. You'll meet new people. And all that's important when we get, you know, that situation like we did back in 2012, or the end of 2012 and 13. So, again, can't urge you enough to open your minds about owning firearms. They're a lot of fun. I imagine if you watched it through this end, I'm just preaching to the choir. But as always, if you see these things, wherever you happen to see them, feel free to leave comments and suggestions. And as always, thanks for watching.